TNT mining here. We're going to go through a few samples of things that I pulled out of the river over the past few years. Just going to have a look at them. Do some comparisons of different items that I know what they are. So, without further ado. Oh, Mel's checking in. Come on, Mel. Alright, first up we're going to be looking at a known meteorite. We know this is a meteorite. It has verification. If you look down into the crevices, you can see fusion crust from when it entered the atmosphere. This is a nickel iron. So we can use our little metal detector here. You can tell that this is definitely metal. Now we're going to look at it under a little bit of magnification here. You can see a little bit more clearly. Nickel iron. It's got a little weight to it, obviously. All right, that is a known meteorite, nickel iron meteorite. All right, next up we got this piece of metal that I pulled out of the river at about, I don't know, what was it? It was right around 20 feet deep in the South Umpqua River. Now when I first found it, it was completely covered in this black stuff that you see here. Now I did take a grinder to it, trying to see what type of metal it was. That led me to deduce that it was mainly nickel. So I've done a little investigating on this piece because there is a little bit of a chance that it could have been a meteorite, right? And I haven't really been able to find any concrete conclusion on this. I do know that it's nickel, almost all nickel. It's quite heavy, it's very dense, it's very hard. And I've defaced it a couple times. When I first found it, it was really covered in that black material that you see right here. So I hit the top of it here with my sandblaster, and that's why you see it really cleaned off the top, and you can see all the little details of the actual base metal. All right, let's put some light on it. Okay, under the light. Now I should mention too, this was buried deep, probably under 7 or 8 feet of overburden down in the hard pack of the river. You know what I mean? Way at the bottom. You can see it's definitely a very solid piece of metal here. Some people suggested that it might be slag. So that's what I'm going to show you next, is slag. This right here is a piece of slag. I have lots of slag, and I know lots about metal because TNT mining is also TNT welding. Now the main thing that I tell if I have a piece of metal that I think is slag is I hit that thing with a piece of hammer. And you can see there's lots of inclusions in this. This is not a solid piece by any means. But if you hit it with the hammer, there's a guarantee that this is going to break apart. Now it should be noted too, I've hit this with a hammer many times and never been able to make it break. So if you happen to know what this might be or how it might have been made, please comment in the comments below, subscribe. But that to me does look like fusion crust. Boy, I'd be real mad at myself if I defaced a valuable meteorite here. But to me, I'm pretty sold that this is nickel ore. Like solid nickel ore. But if anyone knows, please. I'm definitely not sold on what it is. I've taken it to a jewelry shop. They told me it was nickel, and they didn't want to comment on what it might be or not be. All right, moving right along. I pulled this little piece out of the South Umpqua River as well. It's a nice smoothed down piece of metal. You can see. It's a very interesting piece, I found. I'm quite certain that it's aluminum, maybe even tin, because it's so light. So my thinking is that this was a hunk of aluminum that fell into the river quite some time ago, and the river just shaped it into this kind of shape that it's in. That's my best guess. Maybe a piece of tin, raw or tin, I'm not sure. I do have a piece of aluminum here. We'll do a comparison here. This is a piece of aluminum we pulled out of a fire. It's not pop cans, it's actually marine grade aluminum that's melted down into a pocket of dirt. You can see there's still dirt and stuff trapped in some of this. That's aluminum right there. And they do have the same characteristics, to be honest with you. The real thing that puzzles me on this is you can see crystalline matrices down inside there, which makes me want to say that it's naturally formed. But unsure. This one has another question mark on it. If you know, please comment. Next up, we're going to look at a piece of petrified wood here. I think it's petrified wood. I'd like to get your guys' feedback on what or not you think it might be, but you can see kind of that looks like the core wood out of a tree. And this doesn't exactly look like a tree, but it might have been a knotty section of the tree that was petrified. Here's some light. Okay. This is a piece, I know this is petrified wood. This came out of the river as well. You can see the wood grain much more clearly in this piece. Even little holes from I have no idea how you identify the different types of petrified wood. In this here piece, this might be a piece of petrified. It looks similar to this piece here, but it has the same kind of layerings, kind of tree-like grain to it. I don't know. All right, here's a piece of stuff that I've had some questions about. Put that down for a second. Oh man, this stuff is in some sort of matrix conglomerate, but it is heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. I'm trying to figure out what this stuff is. I found large deposits of it, and I'm assuming that it must be jasper, some sort of chert matrix here. There's a piece that's real green. I tried to cut it with my grinder blade there. Yeah, it didn't really work. Semi-translucent green stuff. Somebody told me that it was jade. And it does meet all the qualifications for jade. But there's absolutely zero jade occurrences in this area, so it makes it hard for me to believe that it could be jade. But there is mountains and mountains of jasper, so it makes me think this is some sort of agate, maybe agate and jasper mixed together. Here's a different color piece. This stuff's kind of pink. It's in that same type of matrix. This stuff's not translucent like the green stuff is though. Here's just a good old piece of quartz for comparison. Really, this face stuff, it's real translucent. Let's go without the camera, or without that. Super heavy, super dense. Yeah, so if you happen to think this is a meteorite, oh, it should also be noted that it's not magnetic at all, but it is super heavy. I thought it might be platinum as well. but it's not soft enough to be platinum. So it's made me rule that out and go with nickel. Anyway, thanks for watching.